All right, so let's talk about switchgear. Switchgear can be used to describe power substations where they're taking high voltage and stepping it down to medium voltage, low voltage. Switchgear can also describe your electric service panel, where you're taking your individual breakers and distributing the power outwards. When you look at one of these utility scale substations, this is what their circuit breakers look like. And they get up to such high voltage that these things can actually be unsafe simply to approach with metal on your body. As your much lower voltage circuit breakers on your service panel don't have that danger. So let's talk through the service panel and make sure we know everything inside of it. This is a top-fed service panel. They can be bottom-fed, and the nuance would be, a top-fed is best for overhead power lines. Bottom-fed can be more convenient for underground power lines. Regardless of whether it's being top-fed or bottom-fed, on a disconnect switch, when you have the option of, well, what side do you land the utility side on? Utility side is always coming in from the top, unless it's a bottom-fed service panel specifically. But like a knife switch disconnect panel service should come in, the utility side should come in from the top. Generally, where should the power be coming in on this panel? Usually it's a little obvious. The power's coming in up here and all the work is being done down here. And so that allows an electrician to kill the main breaker, and this side of the panel is still live, but they can work in the underside of the panel without it being a safety hazard. That's an electrician. Now, a non-electrician, they flip this breaker and they're still unsure about whether or not this stuff is hot or not. And the reality is, up at the top, that's still hot. You can stick your hand in there and touch it and kill yourself that way. And that's why we shouldn't be encouraging, non-electricians to do this kind of electrical work. If you're a solar installer and you're not an electrician, you should be hiring an electrician, partnering with an electrician, working with an electrician. They might want to work and partner with you for your solar knowledge. So you can be in this industry without being an electrician. You should not be doing electrical work without being an electrician. When we talk about split phase power service, what we see here are bus bars that are alternating little ledges, and the breakers will snap on to these ledges and form a service panel. A double pole breaker will actually take up twice as much space as a single pole breaker and span two of these little teeth. And this is a 120 volt leg, and this is a 120 volt leg that is 180 degrees out of phase. So when you have a sinusoid system and you got these 180 degree out of phases, they're going to maintain 120 volts to ground each. And if you connected two of them, it'll form a 240 volt circuit. So this 120 volt, 240 volt split phase stuff allows you to use both 120 volt devices and 240 volt devices off of two 120 volt legs of power that come off of the same transformer. And so we call it 120 240 electrical service.